Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is bursting into our homes on March 25th, and after an explosive gameplay trailer, we just need to take a second, slow things down, and break apart this chaotic orchestra of madness. Hey there friends, it's Codiak here, one half of the team behind Legacy Gaming, and today we're diving in to break down the first gameplay footage for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I'll be honest, I'm really upset we haven't been able to cover a Borderlands game here on the channel. It's not for lack of wanting, we just haven't been able to jump in at the right starting point. That's all changing with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, a game both Livid and myself can't wait to explore. Swords, magic, a few guns, that's right up our alley. Up until a recent PlayStation showcase, we didn't really know much about the game, but a huge gameplay trailer dropped and the hype train fired back up as players got their first taste of the game. At first glance, I think it's safe to say Gearbox isn't exactly changing the Borderlands formula at a foundational level, but they are shifting the pieces here and there to create a new experience. What's definitely not changed is the dramatic art style that's become synonymous with Borderlands games, but a shift away from post-apocalyptic themes has helped the art team stretch their wings. We're talking true high fantasy with unicorns, skeletons, pirate ships, castles, you name it. It's a smart change and really allows both players and developers to step away from what they know and allow them to try and experience something new. Of course, with any high fantasy game, you have to have a badass high fantasy villain, and for the first time ever, we get a glimpse of the Dragon Lord in action, and you know, he's a more traditional big bad with massive horns, demonic features, and mystical powers.
Fools! Your party of heroes can't stop me!
Revealed during the trailer was our first look at customizable characters, and this is where Gearbox is starting to break away from the formula they've used for the past decade or so. Players will no longer take control of Vault Hunters, but instead will create a custom character, and by the looks of things, we'll have a number of options to control, like race, gender, and all the other trappings of a standard customization system. This is also our first look at the fantasy-themed armor designs within the game, and man, the Gearbox team just gets it. Like I said before, they've been kind of going down the same track for a while, so changing it up, giving the art team a chance to do something different is fantastic and results in some pretty amazing designs. Everything feels uniquely Borderlands, but with a fantasy twist, and it's all incredibly fresh. The same could be said of the monsters. We've got shark mutants walking on beaches, a number of skeletons and pirates, hulking brutes wrapped in rope, giant hermit crabs that use ships as shells, dancing mushroom boys, the list goes on and on. We even get a taste of one of the bosses in the game, a larger-than-life skeleton lord. I really think we're going to see Gearbox kick it into another level when it comes to the world and enemy design within Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Since the first game, the team has always been wildly creative, and business practices aside, the art team the studio has assembled is just playing at another level. The world is looking great, the enemy's badass, but what about the things that really makes Tiny Tina's Wonderlands stand apart from the previous Borderlands games? I'm of course talking about the weapons, both melee and ranged, the magic, and the guns. Things are looking great. The guns are over the top as you'd expect, with a lot of variations that lean into the fantasy themes. Some weapons have blades shooting off of them, others look like modified gun crossbow hybrids, and others use crystals and other magical properties as power sources. Again, the thematic changes give the devs a ton of freedom, and after creating however many bajillion guns throughout the Borderlands games, change is good. While guns will feel immediately familiar to players, I think it's the magic that's going to be the big game changer when it comes to Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. In this trailer alone, we saw singularity spells, polymorph spells, frost spells, dual spells featuring fire and lightning, molten sunder spells, and even an eternal bow spell. Truth be told, this is what I'm most excited about for the game, to see the depth of the spells and how my character class interfaces with the systems within the game. Melee was also featured a few times throughout the trailer. We got a taste of a few really cool things, like a lunge attack, a warrior-style whirlwind, and some sort of vampiric slam attack that I'm probably mischaracterizing. It's neat to see these melee abilities take the player from first to third person too. A changing perspective is always interesting within a game, and hopefully the Gearbox team manages to nail the transition between perspectives, which will really help make the combat feel unique. Speaking of unique, there are two final things we need to talk about. The first is the world map, or what I think is the world map. It's not entirely clear, but it doesn't look like Tiny Tina's is going to be a true open world game. We know we're playing a game within a game, taking part in a Bunkers and Badasses board game, and we get a glimpse of that during the trailer. It's just a guess, but it also seems like we're moving through the game on a set of rails, taking on one level of the board game at a time. We see the character pieces stop to pick up loot, and even approach an area labeled with some text. It's impossible to know for sure at this point, but it's definitely a new approach. We also get a quick glimpse at some new characters outside of the board game, and whether or not they're vault hunters or just new characters being introduced into the world, I have no doubt they'll play some part in our adventures in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. As I said in the intro, the final reveal was of course the release date, March 25th, 2022, and believe it or not, it's not long off. I'm incredibly excited about everything I've seen, and I just cannot wait to get my hands on a Borderlands game. Like I said, we've never been able to cover a Gearbox title here on the channel, so you better believe we'll be going hard on day one, bringing you all sorts of guides, builds, and reviews. So if Borderlands is your thing and you want to follow along with our adventures, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We'll be with you every step of the way, so come along for the ride. We also invite you to join us on Discord. We've got a great community of around 7,000 members with a special section opening up for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, so check out the link in the description below to join today. Finally, if you like everything we're doing here at Legacy Gaming and you'll want to help us out even more, you can now do so by becoming a member. For just a couple bucks, you're helping evolve the channel and take our community to that next level. Check out the join button below to learn more. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.